I don't deal with it very well. I manage to produce and deliver, but personally I haven't dealt with it very well. I've had a lot of emotional ups and downs. As I said earlier, I have begun the process of recovery, so to speak, you know.
Phyllis Hyman rose to fame in the 1970s and 80s, working with legends like Norman Connors and Grover Washington Jr., and even earned critical acclaim on Broadway in Sophisticated Ladies. But behind the spotlight, her life was far from perfect. What really happened to Phyllis Hyman? Why did a woman so talented, so celebrated, and so full of life meet such a tragic fate? In this video, we uncover the hidden story behind her rise, her battles, and the heartbreaking truth of the life she led, and the silence that followed. Phyllis Hyman, often called the love goddess or the sophisticated lady, embodied what it meant to be a true artist. Her voice, rich, deep, and full of emotional intensity, had the power to bring songs to life and touch the listener's soul. She didn't just make people feel the stories she sang, she made them understand the unspoken, the spaces between the lyrics. Standing 6 feet tall with striking beauty, Phyllis commanded the stage with a presence that radiated elegance and strength. She carried herself like royalty, and beyond her artistry, she was admired for her intelligence, confidence, and clear vision in navigating the music industry. Like Sam Cooke and other trailblazers, she championed freedom and equality, especially for marginalized communities. Her strong convictions sometimes put her at odds with others. She was seen by some as a threat or uncontrollable, particularly when she resisted industry pressures to conform. Clive Davis, for example, urged her to shift toward more mainstream pop music, but Phyllis refused. Her defiance wasn't only about artistic integrity, it was deeply connected to her personal battle with bipolar disorder, which made her especially sensitive to external pressures. This condition shaped her experiences in the industry, reinforcing her self-worth and her unwillingness to compromise her vision. Tragically, her life ended on June 30th, 1995, just 6 days before her 46th birthday. The circumstances of her death remain debated. Some suspected foul play, while others point to a drug overdose. Regardless, it marked the heartbreaking conclusion of the life of a fiercely independent and extraordinary artist. Before exploring the events surrounding her passing, it's important to acknowledge the role of mental health. Conditions like bipolar disorder are challenging, but those who struggle are not alone. Seeking support, listening to someone's struggles, and providing care can make a profound difference. Sharing the burden, even in small ways, can help restore hope and resilience. Phyllis Hyman faced immense challenges before her death. For someone so talented, determined, and accomplished, it is hard to imagine how she reached the point of giving up. How did it come to this? How could a woman who knew her worth, who had achieved so much and held the tools to make her dreams a reality, feel that there was no way forward? In the latter half of the 1800s, Ishmael Lynch, the son of Native Americans George and Millia Lynch, began working on the plantation of William Hyman, a slave owner in Hamilton, Martin County, North Carolina. Under Hyman's policy, Native Americans on his land were required to adopt his surname, and so Ishmael became Ishmael Hyman. On the plantation, Ishmael met Cassandra Cross, another Native American working as a housekeeper. The two fell in love and married in 1870. By 1874, they welcomed their first child, James Benjamin Hyman, and eventually had more children, including Zachariah Henry Hyman, the grandfather of actor Earl Hyman, known for his role as Russell Huxell and as Cliff's father on The Cosby Show. A staunch advocate for liberation, Ishmael worked tirelessly to secure a better future for his children. After the Civil War and the abolition of slavery, he invested around $35 to purchase land in Goose Nest, Martin County, through Solomon Hyman, laying the foundation for his family's legacy. James Benjamin Hyman, Ishmael's son, became a Baptist minister and farmer. In 1896, he married Lizzie Hilliard, and together they had 6 children, including Philip Hughes Hyman, born in 1919. In the late 1930s, facing poor conditions in North Carolina, Philip and two of his brothers migrated north, eventually settling in Philadelphia. Shortly afterward, Philip was drafted into the Army and served from December 1941 to November 1945, stationed in North Africa. Upon returning to Philadelphia, Philip began working in his brother's barber shop. During this time, he met Louise Lively, a waitress at a local nightclub who had endured a difficult childhood and was working to support herself. Their relationship grew, and Louise became pregnant. The couple married, and on July 6, 1949, Louise gave birth to their daughter, Phyllis Linda Hyman. With Louise retiring to fully raise Phyllis, Philip stepped up to provide for the family. He left the barber shop for a job as a postal clerk at the railroad, and the family moved to Pittsburgh's St. Clair Village housing projects. As the family grew, challenges mounted. Louise fell into chronic depression, exacerbated by the birth of two more children in quick succession, forcing them to place their youngest in the care of family friends while they struggled to cope. Surprisingly, Philip and Louise went on to have 4 more children, bringing the total to 7. The growing household only intensified Louise's struggles with chronic depression. Philip's frequent absences, caused by overtime at his railroad job, created an environment of neglect. The household descended into chaos. The children were often left to care for themselves, became unkempt, and struggled to maintain any sense of stability. Philip's own health suffered from the lingering effects of military service and the physical toll of his labor, leading to back problems and early retirement on medical disability. He returned to barbering part-time in the family basement, but the financial and emotional pressures fueled frustration, heavy drinking, and occasional verbal abuse toward Louise, often in front of the children. The family's difficulties drew disdain from neighbors, which in turn fueled feelings of self-loathing among the children. They blamed their circumstances on their parents. Phyllis, who had briefly felt cherished in her early years, saw herself as distinct from her siblings and often dismissed them as her cousins. Unaware of her mother's struggles, she mirrored her father's verbal harshness and intimidated her younger siblings, further complicating the household dynamics. Her third-born sibling, Jay, who had spent the first 6 years of her life under the care of family friends, recognized the need for order. She took on the responsibility of preparing her younger siblings for school, ensuring they were presentable and ready, bringing some structure to the chaos. Phyllis, however, remained focused on herself as a child. She saw her family's poverty as a curse and often expressed resentment toward the idea of marriage. Even then, she dreamed of growing up to be a wealthy, independent, childless African-American woman, someone who would not follow in her mother's footsteps. Her rebellious nature drove her to seek guidance and independence outside her home, shaping an extroverted and determined character. Amidst this turbulent childhood, Phyllis possessed a remarkable musical gift. While attending Philip Murray Elementary School, her music teacher, the beloved Eleanor Leesna, recognized her talent and took a special interest in nurturing it. Eleanor provided the encouragement and guidance her parents could not, fostering a love of music and elegance in her students. Under Eleanor's care, Phyllis's talent flourished. It is believed that this extraordinary ability may have been inherited from her maternal grandfather, Walter Lively, a musician who traveled across the United States performing. By the early 1930s, when Phyllis attended Knoxville Junior High, her mature voice already set her apart, making her a local sensation in talent shows. Her light skin, extroverted personality, and quick humor earned her popularity across all age groups at school. While in 6th grade, a group of 7th and 8th graders approached her about forming a vocal group and gave her the lead role. Because of her young age, they needed permission for her to sing with them. Going by the name The Krails, the group performed at numerous talent shows and consistently took home top honors. Even when not performing with the group, Phyllis often tagged along her sisters as backup singers. Music, which had started as a simple skill, became a central passion after she heard Nancy Wilson on the radio. That magical voice inspired her, shaping her vision of vocal excellence and setting a high standard she aspired to reach. Phyllis also sang with the prestigious Pittsburgh All-City Choir and worked as a backup singer at Steel City Records. When she joined Carrick High School, her popularity soared even further. She became involved in the student council, the Human Relations Club, intramurals, and, naturally, the school choir. Her music teacher, David Tambay, quickly recognized her extraordinary talent and took a special interest, offering her extra lessons. It was clear she was a natural. By 1967, Phyllis had graduated and immediately joined a trio called the Sounds of Ebony, marking the start of her professional musical journey. Around the same time, her former teacher, David Tambay, took a position at Robert Morris Business College to establish a music department as the school transitioned into a fully accredited state university. Recognizing her talent, he ensured she received the college's inaugural music scholarship. Back home, however, life had grown more difficult. Her father left, deeply affecting her mother, and Phyllis's strict maternal grandmother stepped in, though her presence only worsened her mother's depression. Amidst this turmoil, Phyllis made the decision to move out and live independently, determined to carve her own path. College proved to be a challenging environment for Phyllis. Her social life, which included drinking and smoking weed, often clashed with her academic and musical responsibilities. Despite this, her former teacher David Tambay continued to support her tirelessly, securing performance opportunities at prestigious jazz clubs like the Lendy Club and Crawford Grill, where her talent left a lasting impression on all who heard her. Observers began to see her as a vocalist destined for greatness. Yet Phyllis herself doubted her potential and preferred to follow her own instincts. It wasn't surprising when she dropped out of college after just 1 year. She stepped away from music for a time, taking clerical work at General Electric and later serving as a secretary at Westinghouse and Neighborhood Legal Services. Her efforts at a corporate career were often hampered by chronic tardiness, a sign that her true calling lay elsewhere. Phyllis returned to performing at small gigs around town, and her career took a decisive turn when she was discovered by the legendary pianist Dick Morgan at a charity event. Morgan offered her the chance to tour with his group, New Direction, an opportunity she embraced wholeheartedly. In 1971, she officially joined New Direction, led by Dick Morgan. "I really liked being on the road. I liked singing professionally," she later recalled. The tour introduced her to the professional and business sides of the music industry. Unfortunately, the group disbanded 6 months later, prompting her return to Pittsburgh. To keep busy and support herself, she took a job as a babysitter. After 8 months, the work felt unfulfilling, reigniting her drive to pursue music full-time, a pursuit that gave her life purpose. Her determination led her to Miami, where she successfully auditioned and joined the band All the People. Her talent quickly shone, earning her solo gigs and collaborations with bands like the Hondo Beat, as well as work with jazz luminaries such as Joe Donato, whom she revered as the Professor of Jazz. Phyllis's growing reputation in Miami caught the attention of director Bob F. Y., who was filming a biopic about comedian Lenny Bruce called Lenny. He invited her for a cameo while she was performing with the Hondo Beat, a group that regularly played on various cruise ships. During this period, she met Jamaican vocalist Larry Alexander, and the two quickly became romantically involved. When Joe Donato's contract ended and he planned to tour with the group, Phyllis chose to stay in Miami. She formed her own band, Phyllis Hyman and the PH Factor, which included bassist Mark Agan, drummer Billy Balker, guitarist Ron Bullock, and keyboardist Clifford Carter. With this group, she explored every genre, refusing to limit herself creatively. It wasn't long before the band became a local sensation, landing 6-night-a-week gigs across Miami. Phyllis thrived in this environment, and her relentless determination was evident in her work ethic. What had once been a childhood dream of becoming a successful businesswoman was now within reach, propelled not by luck, but by her unwavering dedication and hard work. One of Phyllis's early gigs was at a club owned by Lenny Landstein, who was immediately impressed by her talent and recognized her immense potential. Seeing promise in her, he arranged an audition for her at TK Records, the parent company of Austin Records. While the executives were impressed by her performance, negotiations ultimately fell through because of Phyllis's insistence on maintaining her independence, a principle she upheld with other producers as well. Around the holiday season of 1975, seeking broader opportunities, Phyllis and her group decided to take their music to New York, marking a significant step in her pursuit of musical acclaim. Upon arrival, Phyllis Hyman and her band quickly made a name for themselves at Russ Brown's Club, captivating audiences with their eclectic sound. Their unique style caught the attention of Norman Connors, a drummer and composer at Buddha Records, who was searching for a replacement voice for John Kay on his album You Are My Starship. Impressed by her performance, Connors offered Phyllis a solo deal. A year later, he had her sing the lead on his rendition of the Stylistics' classic Betcha by Golly Wow, and arranged for her to perform We Both Need Each Other as a duet with Michael Henderson. The album went gold, reaching number 5 on the US R&B chart and topping the jazz chart. Phyllis's collaborations expanded to include artists like Pharoah Sanders and the Fatback Band as she worked on her debut album, released in 1977 by Buddha Records. This period marked the beginning of her rising fame, attracting attention from established stars such as Roberta Flack, who encouraged Mick Jagger to see her perform on one of her tours. Her tall stature and striking beauty only amplified the impact of her already heavenly voice. Her career continued to grow with endorsements, including a Burger King commercial secured by her husband and manager, Larry Alexander. Her second album, Sing a Song, featured the track Gonna Make Changes, which she wrote as a tribute to activist Angela Davis. The song highlighted Phyllis's commitment to social change through music, but created tension with the label due to negative publicity and a lack of chart-topping success. As Buddha Records faced financial difficulties and neared collapse, Clive Davis, freshly ousted from CBS Records, stepped in to acquire the label and transfer Phyllis to Arista Records. This move promised new opportunities, and Davis, with his proven track record, aimed to reaffirm his influence in the music industry post-CBS, acting as the catalyst to rejuvenate her career. Her debut album under Arista, Somewhere in My Lifetime, was released in 1979 and featured the Barry Manilow-produced title track. From the start, Phyllis's relationship with Clive Davis was fraught with tension, largely due to a clash of egos. Phyllis had always been accustomed to leading, whether with her band, her autonomy at Buddha Records, or her partnership with Larry. Under Davis, she encountered a different dynamic, with his assertive approach often dictating the direction of her music. Despite their tensions, Clive Davis recognized Phyllis Hyman's extraordinary talent and remained committed to elevating her to stardom. His approach involved steering her toward the pop genre to reach a broader audience, a strategy that only added strain to their already complicated professional relationship. Amid these challenges, Phyllis sought stability in her personal life, formalizing her union with Larry Alexander in a marriage ceremony held in Florida around September 1978. Back at Arista, Davis arranged for Phyllis to collaborate with producers James Mtoom and Reggie Lucas on the album You Know How to Love Me. The title track gained significant traction on R&B charts and dance floors alike. Yet, as Arista began signing other major artists, including Dionne Warwick, Angela Bofill, and Aretha Franklin, Phyllis felt increasingly sidelined. Accustomed to being the focal point at Buddha Records, the shift to being one among many at Arista contributed to a slide into depression. Determined to maintain autonomy and control over her career, Phyllis pursued opportunities beyond Arista. She contributed background vocals to the Beck family's debut album, Dancing on the Ceiling, and auditioned for a role in the Broadway musical Sophisticated Ladies, a tribute to Duke Ellington. Despite Davis's reservations, fearing it might interfere with her recording schedule, Phyllis embraced the challenge. Her 2-year run in the musical showcased her versatility and earned her the Theatre World Award for Best Newcomer, a milestone that marked a significant achievement in her career. At the same time, she released another Arista album, Can't We Fall in Love Again? The title track, a duet with Michael Henderson, reached number 9 on the R&B charts, marking her first solo top 10 hit. This success propelled her into high demand, with offers from magazines and modeling gigs flooding in. Phyllis was back in her prime, reminiscent of her Miami days, thriving in the spotlight while exerting control over her career trajectory. However, the relentless pace and repetitive nature of her engagements began to take a toll. Her irritability increased, straining personal relationships, particularly with her husband Larry. Tensions escalated into accusations of infidelity and disagreements over starting a family, pushing their marriage to the brink. Reportedly, Phyllis had terminated 2 pregnancies during their relationship, choosing to prioritize her career, a decision rooted in deeper, unresolved childhood trauma. Although she cherished the idea of children, she felt unprepared for motherhood. During this period, Larry stepped back from managing her career to focus on his own, leading to a mutual separation. "We just grew apart," Phyllis reflected. "He went one way and I went another." Would you give up the money and success for a husband and kids? Forget it. Following her success in Sophisticated Ladies, Phyllis released her 4th Arista album, Goddess of Love, in 1983. The track Riding the Tiger gained notable popularity within LGBTQ circles, becoming a beloved anthem at drag shows throughout the mid-1980s. Tensions between Phyllis Hyman and Clive Davis eventually escalated into an irreparable rift. Phyllis's steadfast refusal to shift her musical style to pop, as Davis had suggested, was a constant source of conflict. Adding to the strain, Davis reportedly expressed regret over not securing Gladys Knight when he acquired Buddha Records, implying that Phyllis had never been his first choice. This deeply upset Phyllis, who detested the notion of being seen as a secondary option. Their disagreements often erupted into heated exchanges, with Phyllis openly resisting Davis's directives, a stance that never sat well with the powerful executive. During a hiatus in her recording career caused by disputes with the label, Phyllis expanded her creative pursuits. She lent her voice to movie soundtracks, television commercials, and provided guest vocals for artists such as Chuck Mangione, The Whispers, and The Four Tops. That same year, she recorded Never Say Never Again, intended as the title track for the James Bond film of the same name, though legal issues ultimately prevented its use. At Arista, the situation remained grim. Phyllis's manager, Glenda Gracia, worked tirelessly to reconcile the two and facilitate collaboration. But for Davis, the opportunity had long passed. Known for his intolerance of uncooperative yet talented artists, he made a decisive move in 1984 by signing Whitney Houston, effectively ending Phyllis's tenure with the label. The termination of her contract struck Phyllis deeply. Each episode of stress and depression had shaped her, but this setback was particularly painful. Recently divorced from her understanding and protective husband, she faced profound loneliness and unfulfilled dreams. At 35, haunted by the desire for children and the memory of 2 abortions, Phyllis fell into drug and alcohol abuse, with cocaine, once a rare indulgence, becoming her constant escape. Her volatile mood swings prompted her manager to suggest professional help, resulting in a diagnosis of bipolar disorder, a condition that ran in her family. She sought therapy and was prescribed medication, but frustrated by how it dulled her creativity, she ultimately chose to self-medicate. Despite her vow never to sign with another label after Arista, the opportunity to join Gamble and Huff's Philadelphia International Records in 1985 proved irresistible. At Philadelphia International, Phyllis released Living All Alone in 1986, featuring torch songs such as Old Friend and the introspective title track alongside You Just Don't Know. Around this time, she met Tad Finar at a supermarket, sparking an immediate romantic connection. Fresh out of rehab, she felt rejuvenated with a renewed sense of purpose. In 1987, she collaborated with Barry Manilow on Black and Blue for his Swing Street album, a partnership born from Manilow's long-standing admiration of her talent. She also appeared in films like School Days and The Kill Reflex, contributed vocals to projects with Grover Washington Jr. and Lonnie Liston Smith, and embarked on international tours, steadily building her reputation as a versatile and powerful performer. Despite her professional resurgence, Phyllis Hyman struggled to cope with the pressures of her life and career. She reverted to old habits, alcohol, cocaine, overeating, and promiscuity, to manage her emotional turmoil. Her romantic relationships, which spanned a wide range of partners, only deepened her despair, as she was unable to form a lasting connection with someone she truly loved. The cumulative weight of these struggles led Phyllis to attempt suicide with sleeping pills in June 1990, a year after a previous attempt. Recognizing the severity of her situation, she was encouraged to return to rehab, which she did in January 1991, seeking a path to recovery. After completing her rehab program, Phyllis released Prime of My Life on June 11, 1991. The album became the pinnacle of her career and the last one she released during her lifetime. It featured her first #1 hit on the R&B charts and her debut entry into the Billboard Top 100 with Don't Want to Change the World. The album also included 2 additional R&B Top 10 singles, Living in Confusion and When You Get Right Down to It, along with the moderately successful I Found Love. A little over a year later, she made her final recorded appearance on Norman Connor's album, delivering the title track Remember Who You Are, which achieved minor R&B success in 1992. Both the album and its lead single were certified gold by the RIAA. Her battle with sobriety suffered further setbacks in 1993, following the deaths of her mother and grandmother within a month of each other. Grief plunged her into a severe depressive state. In 1994, she broke her foot during a performance, necessitating a period of rest. This downtime led to weight gain and struggles with self-esteem, compounded by the music industry's harsh scrutiny of her appearance. Despite her undeniable beauty, Phyllis also faced financial strain due to spending to support her addictions. As these pressures mounted, she fell deeper into depression, trapped in a cycle of self-destructive behavior. She wrestled with profound loneliness and existential despair, questioning the meaning of her life amid overwhelming emptiness. The events of June 30th caught everyone by surprise. In the weeks leading up to her scheduled performance with the Whispers at the Apollo Theater, those close to her noticed alarming signs. She had several books on death and made unsettling comments about her previous suicide attempts, noting she had learned enough to ensure her next attempt would succeed. Her friends and family, alarmed by these signs, kept a vigilant watch over her. With her 46th birthday approaching, Phyllis invited friends to New York to attend the concert, hinting at a major career announcement. Unbeknownst to them, she had a different plan. She had decided that June 30th would be her final day, intending to end her life after the concert. The invitation was, in essence, a farewell to her loved ones. On that day, events initially proceeded as expected until Phyllis realized her inner circle might have discovered her intentions. Determined to maintain privacy, she improvised and decided to act before the concert. She sent people on various tasks and instructed her assistant to return later to wake her for sound check. She reassured the show's promoter, Mary Flowers, that she would perform, even requesting a special meal from Sylvia's renowned soul food restaurant to be delivered to her dressing room. Around 2 p.m., her assistants arrived and found a note saying she was napping and did not wish to be disturbed. Concerned, they knocked repeatedly but received no response. Alarmed by the locked door, they sought the building superintendent's help. Inside, they found Phyllis unconscious, propped up on pillows, with a note and pen loosely in her hand. The note, written in unsteady handwriting, reflected her inner turmoil. "I'm tired. I'm tired. Those of you that I love know who you are. May God bless you." Emergency responders detected a faint heartbeat, administered oxygen, and rushed her to St. Luke's Roosevelt Hospital. Loved ones waited anxiously as medical staff worked to save her, but at 3:50 p.m., Phyllis Hyman passed away, ending her long battle with pain and despair. The news shocked the music world, including the Whispers, who considered canceling their show as a tribute. Fans arriving at the Apollo received the tragic update, prompting mixed responses. Some gave away tickets, while others requested refunds. The show hung in the balance until Phyllis's band members insisted it proceed, believing it was what she would have wanted. Mary Flowers, the event promoter, honored both Phyllis's memory and the Apollo spirit by ensuring the concert went on, an act that resonated with the audience who stayed. Her band was properly compensated, prioritizing respect over profit, a rare gesture in the industry. The performance that day was charged with emotion, leaving a lasting impact on those who witnessed it. Phyllis Hyman's memorial service was held at St. Peter's Lutheran Church in Manhattan. Shortly before her death, she had finished recording I Refuse to Be Lonely, an album that explored her personal struggles. Released 5 months after her passing, both the title track and the single I'm Truly Yours achieved minor R&B success. In September 2007, an authorized biography, Strength of a Woman, The Phyllis Hyman Story, written by Jason A. Michael in cooperation with her estate, was released, offering a detailed account of her life and career. It is easy to judge Phyllis for seemingly succumbing to her challenges, but only she truly understood the depth of her struggles. Her story highlights the importance of empathy and understanding. Surrounded by people, she still often felt profound solitude. While proper adherence to her medication might have altered her path, frustration and circumstance led her to decisions that strained both her professional and personal relationships. Yet her talent and allure remain undeniable. Like Billie Holiday, Phyllis was a trailblazer, setting new standards and refusing to conform. Though she is gone, her legacy endures. Reflecting her indomitable spirit, she once said, "This time, I'm not giving in." Phyllis Hyman's story is one of extraordinary talent, unyielding determination, and profound tragedy. A life that touched millions yet was shadowed by personal struggles and heartbreak. Her music, her stage presence, and her voice continue to inspire, even as her untimely death serves as a sobering reminder of the pressures faced by artists behind the scenes. What do you think could have been different if the industry had supported her the way she deserved? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the lives and legacies of music legends.